Layers of Fear is a fun and interesting indie psychological horror game by Bloober Team and published by Aspyr. It appears to have been heavily inspired by the classic Oscar Wilde novel The Portrait of Dorian Gray. You take on the role of an artist who is trying to finish his magnum opus, while reality continues to twist and turn all around him, veering off into the dark recesses of his mind. His dark past quickly catches up with him, and the player is faced with one very powerful question. How far is too far? It's clear that Bloober Team loved the Hideo Kojima demo for Silent Hills PT, as this plays a lot like it. You traverse a Victorian-era mansion as you try to put the final pieces of this incredible painting together. As you walk through tiny corridors and through bedrooms, hallways, and whatnot, interesting new architectural elements appear out of nowhere. And before too long, paintings and even the very rooms themselves start to come alive in dark and twisted ways. It's pretty amazing that your ability to interact with this unique world is pretty much locked down to just opening doors and cupboards. It feels very much like an on-rails shooter, minus the shooter elements. All you do is move from one location to the next as the artist's schizophrenic mind unravels. It's quite a surprisingly refreshing experience, even if the pacing is sometimes broken up by basic puzzles and overused jump scares. When it does hit its stride, Layers of Fear is most impressive in the way it constantly makes the player feel unsafe. And since you can't actually die in this game, that's a very impressive feat Bloober Team was able to accomplish. I absolutely love the way paintings morph into disturbing images and how hallways contort to impossibly bizarre architectural structures. It's just awesome to see while you're playing the game. One minute a hallway looks like normal, the next you turn around and suddenly it's all twisted and warped, looking like almost a painting come to life. The graphics are quite nice and detailed, although there are some issues that range from frame rate drops, aliasing issues, and more. Thankfully these issues are few and far between, but you'll most certainly notice them as you play through the game. Some of the graphical effects are also overused a bit too much, such as the aberrations effect. All that said, the level design is superb and the mansion itself looks just great. The audio design is also fantastic, with lots of disturbing noises to be heard in the background at any given moment. The music is extremely well composed and fits absolutely perfectly. The fact that your character walks with a prosthetic leg is also very interesting, as the sound effects clearly identify with that. The camera sways and bobs ever so slightly off kilter as the leg isn't at the right height, and the sound design incorporates this while your character walks. It's really well put together. The only downside I have with the audio is the voice acting and dialogue. Both are a bit stiff, and I wish they could have been refined ever so slightly, as it can be a bit jarring compared to everything else. Overall, Layers of Fear is a 5-hour or so trip into a large mansion influenced by PT. The jump scares and other creepy elements have been ripped directly from some of the best horror-themed video games and movies over the last few decades, and while they've all been seen before, they're used quite effectively here. If you own an Xbox One, PlayStation 4, or a competent PC, I suggest you give this one a try. You may just be surprised by how this game can get under your skin when you least expect it.